All right, guys, an NFL stadium just commissioned me to create an installation, which is insane. I can't wait to get started. I've been drawing all types of ideas and prototyping designs, and then they invited me to come tour their stadium, and that's when everything changed. Remember, I was looking up at the roof on the field when their art consultant told me that the original design for this building was actually drawn on a napkin with a pin in a restaurant. And that's when I knew I was gonna have to start over, because that's a way cooler story. So I figured it'd be really fun to use those same drawing materials and just see what we could come up with. I kept coming back to this design, so I remade it in Photoshop and started adding color. I'm working on a blueprint so I can figure out all the crazy math on this piece that I just rendered. Now we cross our fingers and hope that it all checks out, because there's no going back. Triangles, I'm just gonna say it. Triangles and me are not friends anymore. Triangles and I? Anyways, triangles are a pain because their angles are way too small to cut on a miter saw without a jig. So basically, I made a fancy clamp that holds them in place at 45 degrees. That way I can safely cut really tight angles on this miter saw. I finally got all these corners matching up perfectly, but I have a lot to glue up, so I put together a little ASMR for your viewing pleasure. Now I just need to figure out these center rails, and I pretty much started by cutting all of them way too big, and then as I got closer to the right lengths, it was way easier to find the perfect angle for each one. There's probably a better way to do this, so if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. Because it was really important to them to be able to rotate the artwork and move it around if they needed to, I wanted to make them an installation template that actually felt like it was a part of the art. I thought it would be cool if it kind of looked like a blueprint, so I'm using a dark blue seamless for the paper and then silver ink to map out exactly where the hardware goes. You can see the tolerance between the canvases is so tight that there's really not a lot of room for error. So doing a dry run with a template is a great way to figure out everything that you don't want to be surprised with on installation day. My number one trick for getting a museum quality finish is to use multiple brushes. I use a cheap brush just to clean the canvas and get any fibers off that I don't want to be dealing with later on. Then I use a second brush to actually apply the gesso, which is normally a nice house painting brush because those are designed specifically to hold a lot of paint in the bristles. But that means it's gonna get caked up with paint. So I have a third brush, which is my softest, largest, nicest brush, and I use this to come in and blend out any brush marks. This is gonna give us that flawless finish, and it's gonna look like fresh snow that just fell on a mountain. There's one last step before we can start painting. Oil paint is transparent, so we need to lay down an opaque color as a base layer for the light to bounce off. You could leave it white, but using a bright color is a really easy trick to create some complex colors. And this comes in handy when you have a pretty limited color palette. Now that we know a little bit more about glazing, let's talk brushes, because I'm not a huge fan of brush marks. My favorite tool so far are actually vintage Bob Ross brushes. Bob wasn't just a master of marketing, he actually put out some pretty great products. But the key word here is vintage. This comes with a mail-in voucher for a free VHS tape, so let's just say they don't make them like they used to. But they last forever. I've been using these two in every oil painting I've done for over 10 years. So I'm gonna show you how they work. All right, I've got the first color mixed up with just a little bit of medium to help make it easier to spread, but I'm gonna start off with this smaller brush to actually apply the paint, because if we came in with a big brush first, all our paint would just get lost up in the bristles. Right now, my only goal is to cover the entire canvas in pigment. I'm not concerned about how splotchy it looks because we're gonna come back and hit this with multiple brushes to really refine the finish. So I like to start off working in a circular motion. I found it's kind of the easiest way to blend out all that tiger striping. And then I just crisscross back and forward using parallel strokes really until my arm gets tired. So that's where the blender brush comes into play. I'm gonna use the same technique starting off in a circular motion and then moving into straight lines, but this brush has much different properties because it's a really soft hair. Now we're getting close to a flawless finish, and as we build up layers, it will only continue to get more even. All right, guys, this project is all finished up, and I don't want to give away the reveal because the only thing left to do is pack it up and drive it down to the stadium. Let's put this one in the books. I've been working on a couple other videos that should be pretty cool. I think you're gonna like them, but let me know what you wanna see more and less of in the comments, because I really work on these videos for you guys to enjoy. So if you stuck around this long, you're the best, and I hope to see you in the next one.